Hello, hello, hello. Welcome into the Buffalo Plus channel presented by Connors and Ferris. Mike Catalana, Dan Fates. I am Jenna Cottrell, recapping Hard Knocks episode number 3 airing tonight. Gentlemen, I want to start with you guys. Just what was your overall takeaway?
Dan, go ahead.
Breaking news. It's breaking news. Guys, Matt Milano spoke. We heard Matt Milano say words on Hard Knocks. There was nothing that was more shocking in this entire episode.
I forgot what his voice sounded like.
Same.
It's been a while. So, yeah.
He was funny.
Yeah.
Right? Wasn't he?
Right?
The conversation was funny.
Yeah.
He's got jokes.
He's got jokes.
Josh had jokes. Josh was funny. All right. I would say the best episode so far.
I agree.
A little underwhelmed in the last episode, just in general. My opinion, I love the meeting room stuff.
Same.
I know we're going to go through it. I love the guy that was there with the bippity boppity boop that they were playing the game. I loved all that stuff. I love the stuff on the field. That was good. That was I thought, more typical Hard Knocks version of a show.
Completely. Like, to me, this one actually had, Jamarcus Ingram, Jimmy Charlo, like characters that people like. We cover the team. We've never talked to Jimmy Charlo. Like, we very rarely talk to Jamarcus Ingram. He obviously makes some plays, but the inside, like, I had no idea too that the Bills had the improv expert in Chicago. Just like little moments like that you don't hear about.
Yeah.
And you get to see. And I think that it was a really fun episode. And I think they touched on, obviously, like the shellacking that was Chicago. But I think overall it was my favorite episode for sure.
Yeah. And I thought, like we always said, like the meeting rooms are the coolest thing. Like even watching it with my wife, just understanding how different, like how rare that is to see. Like you don't see those moments. And then to have a pretty powerful one from Sean, just being like, you're not as last year means nothing. Like it's hard to be successful year in after year out in the NFL I thought was powerful and pretty interesting that he's like, there are guys that I usually feel that I'm not feeling right now. Like there's got to be that energy that to me was like, and whether that's true or not, like that does make everybody sit up in their seats a little straighter.
Yeah. I learned something through the years of all these years of covering the team. When we wouldn't get opportunities to see stuff like that or hear them talk, a big one to me is the way they want their players to react to their teammates. Like that is coached. And you heard him say it tonight, like everybody run into the guy, pick up your running back. Like celebrate with them. Like they want that to happen. And sometimes you would think, it's professional football. You make a play, you move to the next thing. And that is really big. As I know it is with the Bills.
Yeah.
Like they want them to celebrate the good plays. They want them to be there for their teammates. And the idea, if you think about it, like when they pointed out the one play where only the one offensive lineman was running down the field. And that's what he said. There's a teaching moment. He's running on every play, and the other guys weren't. I think it was in the Giants game. So I love hearing that stuff, even though we know a little bit about it. But Dan, to your point, like we talk to the players a ton. We don't go in the meeting rooms with them. So that was cool to see.
Mike, was it Dean Smith or John Wooden that was like the first college basketball coach that was like, when you get a good pass from your teammate, like point to them, like, hey, like you get the bucket, but it's like, give the guy the credit, like everybody buying in as even the guy that doesn't carry the ball, score the basket needs to be cheered and he should be the one that's getting the credit. It's that little stuff. I can't remember which Hall of Fame coach it was. I remember it was Dean Smith or John Wooden.
But I'm not sure either. That sounds maybe more like a Dean Smith kind of thing. John Wooden had his pyramid of success, so he may have said it. But I think it also, Jenna, a lot of times when we hear them say, it doesn't matter who made the play. The play doesn't care who made it, right? I think it all falls into that. And sometimes you think, like, they're professional football players, they're going to think a certain way. But I do think you establish a thing. and they've had that. And that's what I think they attempt to do in those meetings. Also, Joe Brady, like coaching the coaches,
Yeah.
I thought was
That
great.
was, that was literally what I was, because you think of
Yeah.
them coaching the players, obviously. But I think when you see them coaching the coaches, it makes you once again realize the meticulous nature of the NFL and how everything gets addressed. How to best coach, have your coaches coach, like things like that that you don't expect to be a part of what a team does on a day-to-day basis. But yet obviously that's a piece of what they do, and just going over what they expect, what they want to see, not just from the player standpoint, but also from how they're actually interacting with the guys.
Yeah, 2 points off that.
Oh, then
Yes, it is live, Isabella.
Yes, Isabella. Yeah, we just want to tell her. Yeah.
One, it was Dean Smith, and he introduced the tradition of point to the passer to emphasize teamwork and unselfish play. So that was whenever a player scored after receiving a pass, they were required to acknowledge the passer by pointing to them. So that was, again, that little thing of picking up a guy after he gets tackled and makes the play. And Jenna, to your point too, talking about like Joe Brady, like
I can't wait. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
He's just itching.
It's funny. Like Renee was watching the second episode, and she was like, "Who's that coach? Who's this coach?" She's like, "There's so many coaches," and it was like, "Yeah, like you don't like." Obviously, she hears us talk about Brady or Dable or Babbage, like the main guys, and then she's like, "There are coaches underneath him," and it's like there's a lot of coaches, and it's kind of like the teachers, the assistant principals, the principal, and the superintendent of a school district, because my wife's a teacher, and like explain that, like there are people that are hands-on, but they're getting coached on how to run their classroom and how to run the building and how the school district needs to operate and their values and all of those things. And when you see it at that level, it was pretty cool.
The only thing I was going to add when Dan said Dean Smith is I've been doing this so long. I told you guys the story. First of all, I was shooting the interview. Dean Smith in Binghamton, New York, held the microphone and was holding a cigarette in the other hand in the hallway of the school when I was interviewing him. Yes, that was back in the day.
That is old school.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, let me look at some of the other things.
Well, can I add the other thing I was going to say is, Dan, I counted Bean 3 Jimbos. Did you have more than 3? It was 3 Jimbos for James Cook.
It's a lot of hugs.
A lot of hugs.
I love how they told him to smile. Like, it's okay to smile.
Yeah, the Bills posted a clip that was similar to that, and I was kind of hoping they would emphasize it more, that when he was signing, he was very emotional and was kind of crying.
Yeah.
And they're like, "We got to take your picture." And he goes, "Hang on, I got to put my sunglasses on." And so then he kind of puts on the persona of tough and signs the contract. And then afterwards, he gets emotional again. I believe the Bills kind of talked about that. He was on the phone with like his parents and his family. Like,
it's cool.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool. And I wish they would have kind of hit on that more, because the Bills put that out. And, you know, you see this picture and you're like, James has sunglasses on. It's like, yeah, because he was crying. Like, that's how much this meant to him. And you kind of got to see that, the interactions of, you know, wish we would have gotten it done sooner, but we still got it done. It was cool.
I thought it was funny too, how like, one of Bean's assistants, Andy, you saw her walk in, he was like, "Yeah, we got it done." And it was kind of like, oh, like, you know, you wonder how much the talk is out there of like what. Now, look, I don't know how much he shares, obviously, with people that are, you know, work in other departments and all that stuff, but just in terms of Bean and like who he was speaking to, of like, hey, we're trying to get this done, or like what the circle of trust is like in that instance when you have a contract with a player that you're hoping to get worked out, but there's nothing to say that it will all get to the finish line.
Yeah, I agree. And I think those circumstances can happen. I mean, look, he's been dealing with this for a while. And I think, you know, she probably came into work that next morning. She works for the GM, comes in the office, and he's got a big smile. And he's like, hey, 11 o'clock last night, we got it done. So I think that stuff is cool. And then, you know, then they have the conversations, and then he goes and signs the deal. I loved the players clapping for him.
I love those clips.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Because we talk about it. players pay attention to who gets paid. It does tell you what they think about James. I think he gained a lot of respect in the room by how he handled it. We might have said it got a little clumsy. He's in, he's out, but he really, for the majority of the time he was in, he was with them, he was practicing. And I know a lot of people don't like that. It worked in whatever way it worked. They got the deal done. But I think his player, you can tell, number one, they like him. And number two, they need him. They know they need him. And I think they were happy for him. So that was cool.
Yeah.
Ty Johnson saying those look like new money legs was great.
So good.
And Isabel, good luck on your earth science exam tomorrow. I hope you pass too. Good luck.
I hope you pass. Yes, that's fair.
She'll pass.
I love. What about Ty Johnson on the horse?
Oh my
that would
God.
be me on a horse.
I was worried. I was a little worried.
Yeah. So, and he's shoveling shit too, Ty. He got that job beforehand with Ed. But you knew the Ed Oliver horse thing had to make it. But when he's describing all of his horses, I mean,
30, yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
We had heard of Sissy and Sassy, but
Yes.
Panty Snatcher was one of them too. I did not I had to rewind it.
I missed that one.
He's going through all of them. It was like, well, oh, okay. And he was just one after another. It was like, okay. A lot of horses.
Okay, my thing about watching like Ed on a horse is I feel like when you see horses run, it's more like a galloping, and I feel like every time they're just like do you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like their body is totally normal. It's just their legs. I don't know.
How about Ed? Like the horse is bigger than any offensive lineman. I'm not going to be afraid of anybody. Though I think he felt like Joe Tooney was bigger than any O lineman, because that is cool when you see that. A little bit of the respect there going on. He's like, and Dion talking with the D lineman from the Bears. I thought that was cool. Booker, just because that is something else that we all know. There is teams and they're loyal and they go to win, but there is that brotherhood in the league. It's like, stay in the league. We're all in the league. And I think that shows a lot of times with the players, the way they deal with each other.
Yeah, that was funny though. I loved that. I didn't realize there was Panty Snatcher.
Yeah. Prayers up for Pops Mafia. Hope all goes well.
Yes.
It's cool to see kind of this kind of stuff in the comments.
Yes,
so,
absolutely. We're gonna
positive
be
vibes.
Yeah, all the positive vibes.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm trying to think what some other stuff.
Jimmy Charlo. I mean, I feel like cameras have been around a guy, and be honest with you, I didn't know who he was. Shout out West Point. That's a layup of a nickname. Like calling him West Point or Army is just very cool. Yeah.
Mike, can you tell your story about? So he's walking into practice at Fisher.
Jimmy Charlo.
We're waiting. Charlo was, and he's walking in, and we get to know even the night. We've seen him. We feel like we've seen everybody sometimes. And he's walking in, and I'm looking at him, and I realized, I'm 10 feet away, but I'm kind of just like, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, who's this guy? I had no idea. And Carl Jones is standing there cracking up laughing because he is watching me just sort of tip my head. He goes, you couldn't pretend anymore that you were unaware who the guy was. He was new. I had no idea, but I was kind of obvious that I was just
You were so obvious. You literally were like,
well, I didn't walk up to his face. I was
but your face said enough.
Did you know who Jimmy Charlo was?
No, but I was watching you watch him and it was like, that's bleeping hilarious.
Hey, but the point when this is why we say about the preseason and training camp, where we talked about people overreacting to results and all those things. But that's very real. If a guy makes a play like that, what he did, in his case, he just earned more reps, an opportunity. And he ended up playing decent amount of defense. What did he say? I've been playing Will and I whatever it was that they used him in the game because they needed him in the game. But, I think that's what happens in these cases. You make a play like that, when you're sitting there with him, watching him and the whole team's clapping for him, kind of cool for a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was so cool to see inside that moment though, of like Sean being like, look, here's a guy. But like, a player that, will he make it in the last couple of weeks through roster cuts? No, and that's okay. But like, to point out the effort, to say, hey, you're going to earn more reps because of this play, and the message that sends in the room. I just thought it was really cool, because I think so much of what McDermott has talked about has always been like, you have to earn it. And it's something we say on our channel a lot, like, who has earned it? And to see a guy who made an energy play and the response that it got.
Yeah, that was the next thing I had after Jimmy Charlo, was the fact that, as we have a celebrity here, Stephen A. Smith, with us, the fact of,
oh wow,
yeah, like him saying the fact of it doesn't matter who your name is, what you did last year, any of these things, like, you have to earn the right. And I think those speeches are probably given much more in the preseason and training camp and OTAs more than the regular season.
Yeah.
But it is powerful stuff to hear, coach like that in front of a whole team in the auditorium was powerful, I thought.
And this franchise, this current team, has those guys, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Cam Lewis, the UB guys, basically all the UB guys, Joe Andreessen, like Joe Andreessen tried out for the team. Now,
crazy.
They only showed a little bit. He had a rough night in the Bears game, but he's going to be on the roster. And he was a tryout guy. He wasn't even an undrafted free agent. He was a level below that, and he ends up on the roster. So they will do that. And, we know 6th round picks like Christian Benford. And now we're watching another 6th round pick who, might find himself getting a big opportunities.
Yeah. Also, Jamarcus Ingram, that was cool about him, like, talking to himself in terms of, like, be great today, one play at a time. Him talking with the Bills.
Dr. Dez.
Yeah. After, and like, he truly walks around with her after practice, like, many laps, like just, it appears like they're just like debriefing the day and just talking about stuff. And it's really cool to see, because the Bills having that outlet for players, I think, is really nice. And she is always there, which is cool.
I think there are a couple of comments too. Trey White's really sweaty. Is one of the things. And now it makes a little bit more sense. We have seen Trey throughout training camp, which was extremely hot and humid in Rochester, constantly having his cleats off, constantly walking around barefoot. And you're like, maybe he's just trying to get the feel for his cleats, things like that. No, he's having to change his socks because he's sweating so much. The caveat I have to this point is, I wish we could have a contest to see if it would be Kaiir Elam or Trey White, because Kaiir Elam sweat was insane. He would walk and his shoes would squish because of it. He talked about doing hot yoga and the fact that he'd have to put towels around himself on the floor to do hot yoga because of how much he sweat. So when I thought of Trey, I thought of Kaiir.
Yeah. You know what's funny though? You say about changing the socks. Honestly, they got to do that. I mean, he even said, like, his feet are heavy and it's got to be uncomfortable. Like, when he's wringing out the socks, that's absurd. That is absurd. That wasn't like, oh, they're a little wet. No, they were soaked.
And then he dapped up Max Hairston after.
That was my first thought, was like, the clip went on and he slapped him up. I was like, dude, he just wrung out his socks and you just like dapped him up.
That was foul. I did not appreciate that.
And before we get it, at least in my chronological order, one, I love Babbage lighting into his defense when they were playing poorly.
Oh, that was fucking garbage.
Fucking garbage. And then Buffalo Joe cruising down the field with the interception, and who tracks him down?
That was awesome. I'm so glad they had that moment. That was phenomenal by Hard Knocks to get that moment, because we all watched that and like the next play was going on, but they have the thing where you have to, if a defensive player intercepts it, you have to run the ball the other length of the field. Joe's gas, and it's Josh who comes down and chase him was great. Outside of Matt Milano speaking, which I thought was the highlight of the episode, we do have to talk about Sean McDermott's shirt during the improv.
I literally wrote that down.
What a shirt.
That was so much personality in that shirt that I was not expecting. You're talking about the improv scene at the meeting in Chicago, right?
I wrote down neon light Bills shirt? Question mark.
That must be
It
his
was-
Saturday night shirt,
That was his.
right?
He's gonna.
That
Have
was-
a couple Mick Ultras with that thing on.
There
Wild
has
night.
to be a.
Some yacht
Yeah,
rock.
there has to be a
Raisin
great.
Bran.
There's got to be a correct way to ask that question at Sean's next presser on Thursday. Of like, how many of those shirts do you got, Sean? Like something along those lines.
Oh
How
my
about just what's the deal with the shirt? I mean, it really was something. Speaking of that,
God. What?
okay, Jenna, when you're watching the bippity boppity boop,
Would be so horrendous.
I'm watching. I'm like, I was like, I'm a little lost here,
Yeah.
but it was entertaining. And of course, KJ Hamler was a star. Would they call him a soft something brick wall? That
Warm,
he referred
cozy
to?
brick wall.
Cozy brick wall. Love the energy. And it was Caden Davis, right? That ended up winning.
Yeah, the kicker.
Beat Josh.
Oh,
out.
okay.
Big moment for him. Beat out Josh. He was the champion. But
That
I
was-
love stuff like that. It's like the one time they had, when we did see the video, when they had the
Oz.
mentalist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was cool stuff to do things like that. I thought it was cool to see what they were doing there.
I am genuinely curious, like how that comes about. Like, who is that something that like other teams do and they talk about it, and then it's like, oh, we should do this as well, or like how does that? Because like Oz the Mentalist, sure, we've seen that on ESPN before a game, and like, wow, this is crazy. But like something like that, like with the improv, like I don't know, that just to me wouldn't be something I would expect. Obviously the players loved it and they were all excited, but I'm curious like how that all comes together for a team and who is the one that looks into that. I'm genuinely gonna ask, but I don't know if you guys thought about that either.
All right. I think it's a Sean thing.
I agree.
I'm sure,
That's
I know,
crazy to me though. Like that man doesn't have enough on his plate.
but I mean that
It's a
maybe
team
at some
building.
point he figures I want to bring this guy in. And you're
Yeah.
right. You'll probably, I haven't noticed. He's probably been to other teams. Maybe he's even spoken. Sometimes those guys speak to maybe a basketball team or something, and you hear about them. And then that's how the guy with the mentalist, I saw him with 4 or 5 different teams when
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
did that.
Yeah, I've seen that. I guess just like the improv stuff, like how does that come together? How common is that throughout this? Like stuff like those questions, because it's cool and it's different, but it's something that we would never get access to or really know it happens unless
Yes.
there's video of it.
Yeah.
Colin
Jenna, how
McGovern
are you-
makes great pizzas.
Yeah. How were you watching the pizza party?
Look, bomb.
Yeah,
And he
dude.
said he had Detroit style pizza and the cookies.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to try a McGovern pizza too.
Yeah.
And what made it feel very normal, like not only is he a phenomenal NFL player that can also cook and do all these things, sets off the smoke alarm. Like chef's kiss of
One
like
of
he's-
us.
Yeah, he's just an everyman. Like you're cooking that, you're searing that steak in a cast iron in your kitchen. You're like, this is going to be a good dinner. And then all of a sudden you're like, yep, I got to go take the smoke alarm out. We got to open the windows here.
I want to ask you guys a question. I wasn't sure I caught it. Did his wife say Josh is on the phone with the guys saying, come on over, watch a game
Watch a movie. That's
Yeah.
so fun.
after
True
they
bro.
spent 2.5 weeks together? Yeah.
That sounds right. Oh, also people talking about Travis Clayton. He
Yeah,
was
with the-
funny. The biscuit, all that stuff. His accent
like-
gets me every time too. Also, a crumpet appears to be. It sounds like it's an English muffin,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Like it was great to hear Vandermark go, so it's toast. Like it was so good. He's like, it's this bread and you put it in the toaster and you
But like
put jam on
toasted
it.
is different than an English muffin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
English muffin's probably the best, but like just to sit there and like we have
Wait a
this
minute,
thing.
Jenna,
It's like
are you
Wait a
bread
minute.
explaining to
I
us
was about to
again?
say, are we explaining bread to one another again on this podcast?
we should ask do they have a twist tie on the crumpet bag? Like how does the crumpets, how are they sealed?
Oh my god. That is really funny. Yeah, no, the pizza party looks bomb. Those chocolate chip cookies he made too looked like they had a little bit of like flaky sea salt on top,
Flaky
which
sea
is
salt is also
chef's kiss.
appearance from my boy White Steve making a cameo. Was
Yes.
very happy to see that.
Yes.
I just tweeted out White Steve at the time.
I saw
That won't get taken. That won't get taken out of context by any means.
Oh my god, Dan. I guess there's that. What
yeah.
about Dalton with the bird?
Yeah. Oh, odd. Like,
Yeah, that
I
was.
want to be a bird. Fly. Well, he said he was talking
I'm not
about
gonna lie, I could see myself saying that, so I'm not gonna be too judgy.
But yeah.
But I also
It's a
am on
little
the sidelines, not playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I did like from the game. Like I respected the understanding of like Dion being like, we're getting our asses kicked.
Yeah, I think
there
he
was
said
no
they're beating the
sugarcoat
F out of us. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like just that kind of level of it where it's like, no, like, you know, they're players, all these things. That is like at that point, they're just a fan, just like everybody else watching the game, and they're seeing exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
So it's 2 years in a row that Hard Knocks shot the Bears' destruction of the Bills in a preseason game.
Mm-hmm.
Last year was from the Bears side, though we did see a Tremaine Edmonds sighting, talking to Josh, former
Made
Bill.
a splash play.
Yes, he did.
He had an
and
interception.
Simone Biles. We saw Simone Biles quickly. Her husband plays for the Bears, right?
Yes. That was cool to see her.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else. Joint practice looked fun. Josh being like, what color is their offense in? That was just like
and then he said, I'm as dumb as
Yeah.
That was funny.
He was kind of silly most of the show. A lot of joking around on the sidelines. Josh, he was, you know, because he had a lot of free time.
Double dribble, travel, something, whistle was really good. To quote, what is that? What's that basketball movie with Will Ferrell?
Oh,
something?
Semi-pro.
No, semi-pro. Yeah.
That was a good pull.
Yeah.
Just Josh that's all you're gonna say?
That was a good pull. Like to sit there and be like, travel, double dribble, whistle. Like it's the
that's from a movie.
That's from a movie.
Okay, I didn't know. I've never seen what is
Josh
it?
is a semi-pro. It's the Will Ferrell like basketball movie. But yeah, he's just always got a movie quote locked and loaded, and to have that one was pretty good.
Yeah. No, I thought the football stuff was. I was just going to say that.
Cool.
I thought the football stuff was good because now I think it's a better show. Actually, it's a better show when something really good or bad happens. And the fact that they got their asses kicked in that game, you can even see too, like I like seeing Jamarcus Ingram out there on the field at the end of the game. And it's 38-0. So you'd be asked 38-0 in a preseason game. But, you know, these players are out there in their own sort of world, in that case, fighting. And he's saying, I'm going to make a play. I got to make a play. I think just because of what that game means and the score doesn't really matter. And I think the examples of the film catching everything, that film's going to catch you good or bad, and they will point it out good or bad. So guys, you know, whatever it is, they got to keep playing. So I do think they'll want to put on a better show Saturday in Tampa, but you know, it's probably still going to be a lot of backups in the game.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Anything else, gentlemen?
Yeah, it was good.
I thought it was my favorite episode by far.
Yeah.
Thought they just did a really good job. You had the serious moments. You had some fun moments. You had Sean's Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah.
You had a
on
British
his horse.
accent.
Connor McGovern, the chef with the pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of good
and like
stuff.
Some of the players that you don't think about, like the Jamarcus Ingrams, or I shouldn't say don't think about, but like, yeah, they're not top of mind when you think of the Bills.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting is we have not like nothing from Keon, nothing on Keon. It's kind of surprising to me though.
Yeah.
You're not surprised by that?
No, I am.
I'm surprised. I mean, even if, you know, everybody knew him from beginning with the jacket and the cookies and all that stuff. But even from a football perspective, now maybe that comes later, but I mean, he's a pretty important player to them, and he's a guy people got to know a little bit. I'm with you. I was a little surprised we haven't seen more of that. But the other thing I've come across with this, seeing Joe Brady in this element, he comes across more like a potential head coach to me. I think he's
100%.
got that. I think he's had the knowledge and the ability. But there's another step there towards going from just coordinator to saying, can you lead the room, the whole room? And I see him in those spots, and I'm thinking, that's, again, we don't always see that. We see him on the field and all, but I think he's come across really, really well.
Do you not see that from Bobby Babich? Or do you think Joe has just asserted himself more in that way?
I think he's asserted himself more, and I think Bobby is in a little different spot. I mean, Joe's, he's got Josh Allen being the number one offense and success. And there's a lot more, it's a lot more on Bobby, and man, it's a lot of change on that defense. And it's going to probably be more. So he's got a different kind of pressure on him. For him right now, it's like success at his current job, not, if you know what I mean. Like, I think that's the way he comes across as a guy's like, we got to get this shit together because their defense just hasn't been good. So
yeah, that's fair. Okay, gentlemen.
All
right, Mike and staff.
Yes, staff.
Oh,
nice job, staff.
We gotta shout out Dan Gorman.
Sent me my mug.
Yes,
that's awesome.
It was so good.
Senior bro.
Senior bro, I love.
Yeah.
That was
awesome.
Yeah.
Mike, Mike, Jenna and I was trying to
Dan
make a t-shirt.
O'Gorman. Sorry, Dan O'Gorman.
Thank you, Dan.
O'Gorman.
There he is.
Oh, hello. Thank you,
Dan.
Love the mug.
Love the mug.
So, Mike, I was trying to make a design for Mike and staff shirts. So I put it in Chat GPT. I'm not usually one. I don't know how this really works. So I put your picture of that we have of you in the Hall of Fame gold jacket. It takes a while for an image to come up. And I just start laughing. And Jenna's like, why are you laughing? I don't get it. And I go, you have to come over here and see this image. ChatGPT, AI greatness, was a picture of you, like kind of cartooned. You looked great. And then they had Mr. Peanut
from Planters Peanuts
next to you. No idea why ChatGPT did that.
Planters Peanuts, huh?
It was Mr. Peanut.
With the monocle and the whole thing?
Yeah.
No,
the cane.
That's interesting.
I've saved the image. We should upload it at some point. But Jenna and I were falling on the floor. And it was one of those things where I was like, this is weird. And I was kind of giggling about it. And then Jenna came over and her laughter made me laugh so much harder that like my abs hurt. Like I was sore, like my stomach hurt. Was so funny of like, why is it? It was like, make a logo of Mike and staff. Like just like figuring that's what it would be.
Was it like, were they saying like a staff, like a, like,
and it was like Mr. Peanut had his like arm around you and you had like a gold jacket.
Doesn't Mr. Peanut have a cane? Doesn't he?
He does.
Cane? Yeah.
And a monocle.
Maybe that's they were going by staff.
But you and Mr. Peanut were buddies.
Well, we are friends.
So funny. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah.
Oh my god. That's wild.
Isabel says, do we think if they beat the Ravens week 1 and overreact to every game?
Oh, thank you.
Yes, we will probably overreact. I mean, people will definitely overreact to every game.
Do we want an overreaction right now? Because I know how to get one.
Well, I already told Jenna that we're going to overreact because week 1 is going to decide who's the number 1 seed.
We did talk about this.
You know, it's funny that,
also, thank you to the original Purple Diva for your super thanks. We appreciate that.
It's funny with the Bills winning those Chiefs games, the one time they ended up getting home field on the Chiefs played in the playoffs. But even those other times when you think, oh, this will make the difference. And look, last year the Bills lost to the Ravens in what week? What was
5.
that? Yeah.
4 or 5.
And got handled in that game, lost to them, and ended up hosting them in the playoffs. So,
yeah, that's true. Okay.
All right.
Thank you everyone for joining us here on the Buffalo Plus channel. Some great comments. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you already have not. We genuinely appreciate it. Also, be sure to follow us on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok, on all the social media platforms. We're trying to grow this thing as much as possible. Anything else from you guys?
Great show, staff.
Great show,
way to go, staff.
All right, for Mike and staff, we'll catch you next time here on the Buffalo Plus channel, presented by Connors and Ferris. Have a good night.